going on?
Thank you so much.
Feel like $1 million.
Shout out TMZ, you up?
Let me check out that rig.
TMZ stands for the Mayweather Zone.
How'd you find me, bro? I got my disguise on.
I love my TMZ family. Wow,
Welcome to TMZ Sports. Babcock here. Well, Shedeur Sanders, he made his first start, and well, he got a win. The Browns are 1-0 with Shedeur Sanders, the most talked about player in the entire National Football League, as the starting quarterback. And there's somebody out there who was telling you, I told you so. It's the President of the United States, Donald Trump. Donald Trump says, hey, look, I told you months ago that this guy could play football, and nobody listened to me. He fell to the 5th round. And, of course, then yesterday, Lucas, he starts the game with Dillon Gabriel injured in the concussion protocol. And, look, he didn't throw for 500 yards, but he had a nice game. He made some plays. He made some big plays. Goes 11 for 20, 209 passing yards, touchdown to throw interception. Wasn't a great interception, but nonetheless, they win the game. Lucas, you beat the Raiders and 1-0.
And that's all you're looking for as a Browns fan, to be completely honest, and to see a quarterback in a Browns uniform throwing a 50-yard touchdown or throwing a 50-yard pass to Isaiah Bond in the first quarter. I mean,
very impressive.
Wake me up, am I dreaming kind of situation here. But it's funny to see Donald Trump talk about this because, yes, back at the draft, after night one, did not have his name called, he was going after people saying, are these owners stupid?
Right.
Are they dumb? And then, the Browns ultimately did take him in the 5th round, and yes, he did have to wait until Dillon Gabriel went out with a concussion in order to get his shot, but he's a guy who was ready for the opportunity, and last week it didn't look great with the Baltimore Ravens, and he said, look, this is my first time getting reps with the first team, and I'm just being thrown out there on the field. So he got a week to go and get that chemistry with Jerry Jeudy and work with the other guys. And after the game, he actually talked about that. He said, look, I get the win today, maybe see what it would be like if I got a whole season to work with these guys.
Everybody starts different places. And like I say, just because I didn't get the summer reps, just because I wasn't in the best situation, for me to be prepared to go out there and execute, like from a summer standpoint, that's how life is. Everybody's not in everybody's not in the best situation, but it's no excuse. You got to go out there and perform. Like, there's no choice, there's no question. Nobody cares if this was 1 week of prep. Who cares? So a lot of people want to see me fail, and that ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen.
So there he was after the game. You could tell that Shedeur Sanders is feeling good, as he should. I mean, it's, you got a football team that hadn't won much this year, and he goes out there and he gets them a win. Now, are the Raiders a good team? No. The Raiders obviously are one of the worst teams in the league. So, fine. But you play who's on the schedule. Now, I don't fault him for last week, and it's tough, like Lucas said. If you don't get to practice with the guys you're actually going to be out there playing with, it's tough to expect to have success. This is a hard league. So I think that's why we said, hey, give him a week to practice, and then let's see what happens here. I've never seen a more polarizing player. He's the most polarizing guy in the league. Either you love this guy or you hate this guy. There aren't many people who don't have an opinion on Shedeur Sanders. But, look, he's 1-0 as a starter. Now, let me give you here what Donald Trump said. So, Trump yesterday, he says, Shedeur Sanders was great, all caps great. Wins first game, career start as a pro for Cleveland. Great genes. I told you so. Again, all caps. Obviously, great genes. His dad is arguably the greatest cornerback of all time. Now, I told you so, as we referenced. Here is what he had originally said in April around the NFL draft. This is after Shedeur didn't go in that first round. And remember, at a time, people thought he might be the #1 overall pick, period. Donald Trump says, what's wrong with NFL owners? Are they stupid? Deion Sanders was a great college football player and was even greater in the NFL. He's also a very good coach, streetwise and smart. Therefore, Shedeur, his quarterback son, has phenomenal genes and is all set for greatness. He should be picked immediately by a team that wants to win. Good luck, Shedeur, and say hello to your wonderful father. So it's clear Deion Sanders, Shedeur's dad, and Donald Trump, they have a good relationship. They've known each other for a long time. Donald Trump's been around football. Remember the USFL? He's He's owned the football teams. The guy likes sports, so he's got relationships with some old school players, Lucas. I don't know if Trump's right or not, but for today he is at least, because Shedeur Sanders 1-0. All right, moving on to NBA Hall of Famer Chauncey Billups, who was in court a little bit earlier today, Lucas, in Brooklyn, New York. He officially has now pled not guilty. We know Chauncey said, hey, look, I didn't do any of these things that I have been accused of. But he, again, made it official in a U.S. District Court, a federal courtroom earlier today. Bond set at $5 million, Lucas. So these are very serious charges. And if you weren't sure of that, just look at the amount of money that he had to put up in order to walk free. Well, he's got it. Chauncey, of course, has made tens of millions of dollars throughout his career. So he is a free man now. He will obviously have to face these charges at some time here. The case, as a matter of fact, the trial, I should say, is expected to begin in September of 2026. Now, remember, this is that betting scandal that has rocked the NBA. Chauncey, it's a complicated case. Terry Rozier, of course, was charged with fixing prop bets. Hey, bet on me to score less points than, this. For Chauncey Billups, it was different. Remember, this was the case involving the 4 of the 5 mafia families, Lucas, in New York City, where Chauncey Billups was accused of essentially being the bait to attract wealthy suckers, right, who would then play in games they thought were on the up and up, but were in reality not, and they were cheating using things allegedly like
the X-ray tables, contact lenses, all that, fixed deck shufflers.
I mean, this is
all that kind of stuff. But they needed Chauncey Billups to be the legit guy to bring in all the money and be like, well, hey, Chauncey Billups is going to be here. You know him. He's a man of character. Come play this poker game. Everything's going to be fine.
And you can imagine, look, if you're going to a poker game, you're going to Las Vegas, a casino, okay, fine. You feel like this has got to be relatively fair, but you're going to an underground game somewhere in New York City, you don't know. And I think what the prosecutors have said is, they, like Lucas said, they used Chauncey Billups as a way to kind of ease everybody's fears that these games might not be legit. Now, again, Chauncey has said that's not true. Would I risk my job? The guy is the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, although he has been placed on indefinite leave right now. And I think many people believe Chauncey will never see a NBA sideline again, an NBA bench again. But he has said, look, would I risk all of that for something, relatively, to $50,000 payment? Something to that effect is what the authorities say that he received. So he has pled not guilty, $5 million bond. He is out, but this thing is, barring something completely unforeseen, is going to go to trial likely in the later half of 2026. And, could be facing decades in prison. So forget working, whether that ever happens again. There's a chance he could spend decades in prison if he's ultimately convicted. So there's a ton on the line here for Chauncey Billups. He says he's not guilty. See what happens. Up next, the Cowboys clap back at an elementary school in Philly that went viral ahead of their rivalry game on Sunday. The hilarious footage is on deck right here on TMZ Sports.
Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Lucas and Luca here. I'm going to do a little translation for you. That was Michael Irvin being happy that the Dallas Cowboys came back in dramatic fashion and defeated the NFC East rival Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. It was an epic one. They were down 21 points at one point, and they got that victory. And while Michael Irvin was super stoked about that, there was also some post-game celebrations that were really fun as well. Let me take you back to last week. Now, there was a school in Philadelphia that decided to show their team pride by putting up some punching bags and printing out pictures of some Cowboys players and letting students go at it. I guess it was a gym class for them. Well, fast forward to Sunday night after the Cowboys handled business. They got the last laugh and taught those students a lesson. So the Cowboys, that's a little lesson there for those students. At least they didn't go as far as to like put children's pictures up there and
that would have been crazy.
Bad joke. Bad joke. Luca, we know you are a massive Philadelphia Eagles fan. What do you make of all this, and are you doing okay?
Cowboys, all I got to say is act like you've been here before, all right? Defending Super Bowl champions, I can't complain too much. But in all honesty, that is probably the worst game of football I've ever watched since they lost the Super Bowl the first time against the Kansas City Chiefs. That truly was one of the most heartbreaking. It got to the point where it was 21-0, and I started, doing house chores, where I was like, okay, this game is over. And I'm like, there's no way we put up a goose egg in the second half. We did. And unfortunately, it resulted in a Cowboys win. Of course, it was a division rival, the first loss that the Eagles have ever had in the Kelly Greens since they brought him back. It was just overall a really bad day in Luca land, and Michael Irvin, they all let us have it. Good fade by the Cowboys to kind of do that little bit at the end. I respect it, but have some class, guys. Have some class.
Well, Luca, to make you feel a little bit better, remember we did talk to Eagles great LaShawn McCoy not too long ago, and he said, "Great teams sometimes lose. It happens. And don't have to hit the reset button." He said it happened last season too, and it ended in green confetti and a Super Bowl. So don't lose hope just yet. I think everything is going to be fine in the city of brotherly love.
Andrew Luck loses it while giving a sideline interview during Stanford's win over Cal. The reaction you don't want to miss is coming your way next on TMZ Sports.
Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Lucas Widman alongside Dylan Berry.
Yes.
There was a massive rivalry game going down this weekend in college football. Stanford versus Cal.
Huge.
Let's not forget, Stanford GM, Andrew Luck.
Wow.
He retired from the NFL, obviously, in 2019, but his heart is clearly still in the game because he was being interviewed on the sideline during the matchup, and something went down, and he said, hold on, I got to see this.
Stanford's general manager and Andrew Luck, we were talking a little bit about how important this rivalry is. For you, being able to be a part of it, how meaningful is it?
It's huge. It was great to be as a player and now be as a GM and watch these guys. I'm going to watch here for a second. Oh, ball! Go, Jay, go! Go, Jay! Go!
We just talked about this rivalry. To see that play just now, describe the emotion.
Hard to say. It's a hell of a job by Omar and Jay Green. It's good. Let's get it going now, all right? Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
That's what that is all about right there. That is exactly why you've got a guy like Andrew Luck. You said it earlier. He is hands-on.
I'm sorry, was the drummer in that marching band wearing a Rumi jacket from K-Pop Demon Hunters? I'm sorry. I had to point that out. But Dylan, what do you make of
this? This is the college football clip of the year. I mean, Stanford football, not a great team, not a great program right now, but this is their Super Bowl. It's great to see Andrew Luck, just in general. Yeah. But to capture this moment and the fact that he was yelling the safety's name as he was running down the field, and even here he's listening in to I want to hear the question, but I'm also taking a look at what's going on here. And then, yeah, one of the craziest plays of the game. So hype. He gets in there and high fives all the guys after. Man, this is college football. This is great.
It just goes to show that Andrew Luck is one of those guys who he's not super distanced from the team. He actually is hands-on, and he loves this job. He loves having on this different role. Obviously, he was so great with the Indianapolis Colts and abruptly retired, but after a few years, he wanted to get back in the game, and it's a great way to do that, especially at his alma mater. So you love to see it, and Andrew loves to see that.
I think I'm definitely, most importantly, I'm having the most fun playing that I've ever had. And, yeah, real grateful for the opportunity to play for a team like this. It's hard to put your finger exactly on what, what makes it feel like that, but it's just one of those teams where we just have a lot of fun together. Everybody, you can see from the celebrations to the intense moments out there. It's just one of those teams where we just find a way to really enjoy, being, Sean's always talking about being totally and completely present, and that's really where we are.
That was Davante Adams after the Rams' 34-7 win over the Buccaneers on Sunday night. The Rams wideout was for sure having fun. He leads the NFL in receiving touchdowns with 12. The 9-2 Rams also currently hold the top spot in the NFC, so you can tell why Davante Adams and company are sure having a good time. Now, the Rams are not the only ones having fun in Los Angeles, because this is great. On Saturday night, the Black Ink crew star Sky Days took over the TMZ After Dark tour, fueled by Monster Energy. Her energy was absolutely incredible. It was off the charts. Everyone was doing shots at Beaches WeHo as well as at Powerhouse in Hollywood. Sky Days even got on the bull, the famed bull at Saddle Ranch. This is like one of the most popular, most known things to do on the Sunset Strip. It was absolutely crazy. As you can see there, look at the video. Everyone had an amazing time. Davante Adams and the Rams may want to check this thing out. Be sure to go to monsterenergy.com to see what they've got going on, and check out tmztour.com to learn more about how you can be part of all of the fun. Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors questions whether his own team wants to lose on purpose. See exactly what he said in the since-deleted post when TMZ Sports returns right after this. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Babcock and Danny here. Oh, Danny, it happened again.
The voice is gone.
My voice is gone. It has nothing to do with the Giants game, because I expected at this point, Danny, right? It's like the Giants, three and a half quarters through, they played well, and once again yesterday against one of the better teams in the NFC. Giants had a double-digit lead, and Danny, again, the game goes into overtime. The Lions, they kick a long field goal with a minute or so left in the game, force overtime, and then, of course, Jahmyr Gibbs, who is just a demon, he's just an absolute beast. He had a huge game, over 200 rushing yards yesterday. So he scored a touchdown. Giants drive in overtime, but ultimately do not score a touchdown. And for the fifth time this season, Danny, they lose a game, again, up double digits in the fourth quarter. The players, not just fans, players also very frustrated clearly about this, because after the game, Danny, Malik Neighbors, of course, the second-year standout wide receiver for the Giants, who hurt himself, or was hurt earlier in the season, is out until next season. He couldn't help but vent his frustration here, Dan. I think a lot of people agree with him. Maybe you don't agree that he should have done it, but I think a lot of people agree with what Malik Neighbors says. So Neighbors goes to X, and here's what he writes. Sometimes I think they be making us lose on purpose, because it's no way, bro, you throw the ball instead of running it to make them burn 2 timeouts. Then you don't kick the field goal. That's when the Giants could have gone up 6. You don't kick the field goal. Then they have to go down and score. Football common sense. Am I missing something? So, Danny, give me your take on Neighbors, first of all, talking publicly like this, which the Giants didn't want him to do because it came down just a few minutes later. What do you think about what Neighbors did? And then what do you think about the content, though, of the message?
I mean, I wish he didn't do it. I mean, I understand you're sitting at home, you're already frustrated, you tore your ACL, it's been a rough season, and what you're watching is not fun, but it's like, I know he looked at it, was like, do I want to tweet this? And he was like, yeah I'm still going to tweet it. Right. I would love to know how long it was actually up for before he got the phone call from being like, what are you doing right now?
I would have loved to hear that phone call, too. I would love to know who made the phone call.
I think we know who.
Do you agree with what he said? I don't agree with, I'll be honest, I'm down for trying to go up more than 6 points, because if the Giants went up 6 points, I think they would have lost that game by 1 point, because the Lions would have went down the field. The Giants defense, by the way, they fired their defensive coordinator, Shane Bowen, this morning. So I don't think there's any way that the Giants would have stopped the Lions there, Danny. I think they would have just lost by a point. So I'm down for trying to score a touchdown and try and give yourself a chance to win the game.
I didn't care either because, like, in the moment, I think about our record. We're 2-9.
Right. Also,
what is there
right?
to lose?
Right.
But you could also argue that tweet basically just guarantees Mike Kafka's not the head
chance
coach.
now.
He just lost that.
Right.
You already got your third-year player already hated like that.
Right.
He probably likes Kafka, but when you got him calling out a decision maker like that, I think the bunny meme with the clock, you start pointing
that
at
was
it.
my takeaway too. Okay, this week against the Lions, not many people thought the Giants had a chance, and then what do you know? They're up 10 points in the fourth quarter, and then again, same old story with neighbors, like Danny said. So I think, probably all she wrote for Mike Kafka. He will not be the head coach. Who will is the question. All right, guys, we are just about out of time. Danny and I have got to go. We got a good one tomorrow, though. This Jake Paul-Anthony Joshua fight is less than a month away now, going down December 19th in Miami. I think a lot of people think that Jake Paul, he's got no chance, and that the dude is just flat out crazy for taking this fight against the two-time unified heavyweight champion, a guy who was a Olympic gold medalist, a guy who was 6'6" tall, he's taller, he's bigger, he's got more power, he's got more everything, right? Well, there's somebody who back in the day, back in 2019, shocked the world when nobody thought that he could beat Anthony Joshua, and we're going to talk to that guy tomorrow. Andy Ruiz, remember, filled in for Jarrell Miller, and he knocked Anthony Joshua down multiple times, and he beat him. That's what Jake Paul's hoping to do. So tomorrow we're going to ask Andy, hey, what advice do you have for the problem child? And would you actually help him prepare for the big AJ fight? So Andy Ruiz tomorrow. Cannot wait for that. Have a great night. Enjoy the Monday Night Football game. We'll see you then.
I'm a lawyer.